you tell me if I'm standing the right way. May remember last week. Sorry for Will talking all over me. Carry on. Oh. Carry on. You may remember last week I was talking about this rubber wood, which I just couldn't do anything with. Will's going to have a go. Oh, he's had better luck than I did. Oh, you made that look really easy.
It was really easy.
I couldn't do anything with that. It just bounced off it. Well,
let's try another bit.
Well, there you go. The superior strength of Will versus me. I don't mind admitting it, that's why I left it for him.
Oh. It is pretty tough wood, actually.
You're doing better than I did.
This one will be interesting.
We both like wood splitting because it's good exercise, but also you get something useful at the end of it. And this log splitter is excellent.
It is very good. It's a Fisker's maul, technically. Oh, jeez.
Let's
try that again.
I'd leave that bit, that's fine.
I want to see if I can do it now. Yes, I can. It is very, very tough wood, actually. I have a feeling this one might be a bit tough. Let's see what we can do. It really doesn't want to be split, it's running away.
Yeah, I would say in a rating of 1 to 10 of the most difficult wood I've had to split, I'd definitely put this as a 10. I don't know anything like it. Will's making a much better job of it than I could.
I'm pretty sure it is some sort of eucalyptus, but there are so many different types. That's really tough. Compared to equivalent sized wood from other trees. So before I split that, by way of example, this is from a different tree, but it was cut down at the same time. It's a similar diameter, possibly slightly thicker actually.
Yeah, it's bigger.
And let's see what happens with this. So, easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Barely
have to...
And this, I'll barely need to drop the splitter on it and it should split fine. So that, I put almost no effort into that whatsoever. But anyway, quite tough to split, but we did it.
Will and I have become a little tired of the rigmarole of getting rodents out of the house once they've got in. We've tried everything. We've shored up the house as much as we can. We've got the trap in, etc. The humane trap. So what I'm trying now is a recipe for a potion that my parents sent to me, which is comprised of handy things that are already available in the kitchen. So you have peppercorns, paprika, chili and cumin, and what you do apparently is you boil it up, leave it to cool, strain it, and then spray it around where you don't want the rats. And since the rats seem to end up in the bathroom, I'm assuming that they somehow get in the vicinity of their outside. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I will report back to see if I have any luck with this rat potion. I know it's difficult for you to see in the wood store. Believe me, when you're actually in here, it's fine. But you may notice we've had a bit of spillage, and because we have discovered there's a slight flaw in the wood store design, which means that we haven't entirely accommodated the slope, and so consequently the bays of wood are starting to lean. It wasn't so much a problem with the first bay, and it's not apparently a problem with this one, but this is the bay of living wood, and I was just finishing processing a load, and I heard it come crashing down. I tried restacking it, and then it crashed down again, and the first two layers are also on a bit of a lean, and this is probably quite dangerous because the living wood is full of water and it's going to dry out and it's going to shrink, and so the chance of it toppling is going to increase in time. So we have decided there's nothing for it, but we're going to have to take remedial action. So we're now in the process of raising the floor of the bays so that they are more level. This is just testing the principle, and we're now going to work towards doing it properly. Then what we're going to do is move the living wood onto this bay, and then start using this bay for other wood. So it actually works out quite well, because I was never happy for the living wood to be in bay 3. I always wanted it to be in bay 4, but bay 4 wasn't finished, so we had to make do. So it's not the end of the world. And then, as I say, as we go on, emptying bays will do the same, and obviously when we make these new bays we'll just do that as we go. So for now I'm going to see what I can do to assist with this straightening the bays project in order that our wood is a little safer. Well, I have done all that my skills will enable me to do with that project, and now fingers crossed Will can help when he gets home, because I'm hoping that that bay at least will be done ready for tomorrow, when I intend to go and process more wood. It never ends. Nevertheless, I'll keep you posted. Sadly, the potion wasn't entirely successful. Welcome to day 2 of Operation Let's Fix Up the wood store base so that they aren't on an angle and so that the wood doesn't tumble out of them. That's quite a long operation name, but there you go. And I have been given permission by Will to proceed with this project. I say given permission slightly tongue-in-cheek, but only slightly, in the sense that Will knows better than most that I'm hopeless when it comes to anything practical. And also it would require using some of his tools. But he came home quite late last night. It was getting dark, which is why we're on day 2 of this project. Gave me a quick tutorial on to how to use some of his tools and an idea of the sort of thing I might do. So that's what I'm going to start doing now. I will be using this set of tools. This is a froe. That's how it's pronounced. I haven't got a lisp. It's F-R-O-E, which is used for splitting wood down the grain, and the mallet to go with it. And I've been practicing on this piece of wood to replicate what I want to do with the real bits of wood. And so essentially I'm going to have one more go at practicing, and then I will move on and try my hand at the real thing. Here's the situation we're at. I have shored up the back part of this base floor as much as I can, and I did the poles, and Will's made the wedges, but as you can see there's still a little bit of work to do because we used some of the biggest wood that we have, but the gap on some of them is so substantial it still wasn't big enough. And then as we go up the slope, the ground would benefit from being dug out a little bit to accommodate the wedges which become too big. So this is like the differential of the slope that we're dealing with. As I say, when it comes to the final 2 bays, we will do this as we go, so we won't have to make this remedial action, but we will still have to do the same for the first 3 bays. I'm going to crack on and see what I can do with this, and then I will be restacking all of this wood in this bay. That is that done. Boy, do I wish that went by as quickly for me as it did for you. Anyway, so I've emptied the wood from here, I've put it onto here. In the process, I did discover something quite important, I think, though, which is that whilst for sure having this small level is better, I was still getting not a lean, but a weird sort of bulge in the wood pile. And I went on the internet, and believe it or not, there's a forum for absolutely everything on the internet. And there's a forum for stacking wood and wood piles toppling over and techniques about how to stack wood. And bulging piles did come up quite a lot, so it's clearly a thing, a known thing. As I was going, what I tried to do is bash the bulge in as much as possible, and I've slightly toppled the top of the first row so that it's leaning back. And then when I came to this third row, what I did was I started stacking it further away. I'd been stacking the wood, abutting it, in the expectation the weight of it would push it back. But I left a bigger gap, and as I worked my way up, I started sort of manually tilting the wood so that it was pushing on the bulge. So that now, if it's leaning in any direction at all, it's towards the wall. I know that as the wood dries, this is going to shift and change, and I may still have problems with it, but it's not overly high. It's slightly higher than me. And I'm 5'5", so it's not like the stack's hugely massive. I had heard that that was something which can be problematic. It is now level, so fingers crossed it'll do better, but really only time will tell. I think that has been valuable, so that when it comes to stacking this bay now, I might try a slightly different technique. The techniques I've got in mind are leaving the bigger gap and slightly stacking the wood so that it's leaning towards the wall, or, as I've sort of done on the end of this mini stack, crisscrossing it, so the wood goes in different directions each layer, and see if that makes any difference. So who knew? There's more of a skill to stacking wood than I realised. And this is yet another skill that I'm going to have to try and get my head around as I endeavour to become excellent at keeping the household supplied with sufficient wood for our needs. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is rinse and repeat, and now do what I can to level this bay, ready for the next lot of wood which is already waiting processing.
You may recall watching footage of me attempting and succeeding, but only with difficulty, in splitting this wood which we acquired recently. They're not very big logs, but they were incredibly difficult to split. The log splitter in some cases bounced off them, even though the wood is green and should have split without any trouble at all. And we were trying to work out what the wood was. You can see it has quite an unusual, distinctive bark. Anyway, I had a word to a friend who is a local farmer and knows a lot about the local trees, and apparently this wood is yellow box, which is a fantastic woodworking wood. It's very hard. This is some much older seasoned yellow box, which well, if you could feel it you'd realise just how hard this is. It's like rock. And this is the handle of a mortising chisel which I made with some yellow box, because it is virtually unsplittable. It's really tough wood, and I made this handle with yellow box precisely because I knew that I could whack it very hard and wouldn't risk splitting it. So anyway, that's the same wood, although this is much older. This handle is actually from this piece of yellow box. Very good wood for burning, apparently.